before I do that, Josh, you recording everything? Everything recording?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are we doing the Skype recording as well, just in case?
Yep, got that going too.
Right, so 3, 2. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. Joining me from across the pond, we have our regular Crusaders. Josh, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. How are you?
I'm very well. And Freyja, how are you? Welcome back.
I am doing great. Sorry I missed last episode.
Oh, well, you weren't sorry after what we said about the book you made us read.
Yeah.
It was a parting gift. A party.
Party gift my ass.
Yeah. Take that back for a refund. Oh my God. Sweet mother of God. And then I don't even want to talk about the book you picked this week, but it's like you must have like a massive hate on for us having to read this. That's all I'm saying. All right, okay. So before we get into the comics, now that I've prompted that little teaser, kind of breaking news at the time of recording. Obviously, by the time this hits the airwaves, there will be a raft of other news to coincide with this, but I am, of course, talking about the recent Dan Didio leaving, or was he fired, from DC Comics. For those that don't know, Dan Didio is the publisher of DC Comics. He's been around as that role since 2010. Okay, so through that time, he has foreseen and oversaw the following events. Are you ready? You've got Flashpoint, New 52, the Trinity War, Forever Evil, Convergence, Rebirth, Dark Knight's Metal, Doomsday Clock, Heroes in Crisis, Year of the Villain, and of course every Batman thing that came out since that time, which includes all the various courts, Nights of Owls, and deaths of families, and so on and so forth. Guys, what's your take on this? Is this the big end for DC?
No.
No. Oh, Josh,
I don't think
so. No. Okay, cool. So what do you think it means then if Dan Didio's leaving DC? What sort of impact can that have on the whole 5G stuff that was kind of rumored to be coming out this year? Do you think that's still going to go ahead?
I think it's going to have a change in how things are done. I don't know. I mean, with how critical we've been with Doomsday Clock, and I don't know, maybe Doomsday Clock was the Doomsday Clock for Dan, with all the issues that had with releasing on time, things like that. I mean, they've seen a drop in relative, sales as far as books go, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a change that DC needed to turn things around.
Freyja, what do you think?
So, honestly, I think he might have just been tired, because I probably would have been. But this can be either an opportunity or a huge disaster for DC, depending on who takes the place and what, how they decide to do things. So I'm just gonna wait and see, but it's flip of the coin, it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. So
the kind of press, stay positive, good call. Some of the press I've seen over on the Twitterverse, there's a lot of people cheering. There's a lot of people who feel that Dan was great at supporting them moving forward. You've also got to think that amongst those events, he also had a hand in developing an animal, destroying Vertigo, and of course creating Black Label. So that's quite a list of good things and bad things.
Yeah, well, you can't please everybody. He did what he thought was best. Some people may agree and some people don't, because that's just opinions right there. You can't please everybody. You can please some people, but that's it.
Okay. So, do you think that the rumored price point for 5G, which potentially could be one of the things that the snag, I'm hearing that books are going to cost $7.99 for characters that aren't your regular characters? Do you think this is kind of an idea that is going to minimize the amount of books out there, or is it going to increase? Do you think that people are going to stop spending it? Because, I mean, I was in my local comic book shop yesterday, and we pay for DC Undeceased, or whatever the new series is that came out. We pay £4.40 for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's that, $4.99 book? I know that I don't think I would be able to buy the same amount of books if I'm having to spend $7.99 on books.
Mm-hmm. So, with that, I think it would kill the market more, because here's the thing. At least where I'm from, like, I have local comic book shops too, but they're relatively empty.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just jack up the prices, the people who are already there are not going to be there, because you can get digital copies for cheaper, or and I don't condone this, but it is what it is. You can even read them online for free. So why pay for it if you can find it online for free?
Fair point. Josh, do you think the $7.99 price range for a book, even if it has got extra pages, do you think that's warranted, especially if some of these books are going to have like a Batman that's not Bruce Wayne or a Superman that's not Clark Kent? I mean, how is that the China Superman? That's still not kicking around anymore. So has that not proven that Superman should be Clark Kent?
I don't know. It almost seems like they're kind of desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate to make up. I mean, maybe this is a sign that you shouldn't partner with AT&T.
We're getting like a Marvel and New World thing again, aren't we?
Yeah, I just, especially if you're gonna go with characters that are not your mainstream, why in the hell would you bump up the price point to that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely think that to some extent, the proliferation of Batman and the Joker has been the thing that potentially has done Dan in the fact that it can't seem to get out of their own way. It's every time there's a Batman story, and there are plenty of Batman stories out there. There's been how many new Batman stories and books come out one way or the other. They always feature the Joker. Even the current Tynion stuff on Batman 86 through 89 has a Joker in it. So you're kind of, it's like they found the magic key, and they just keep bounding it and bounding it and bounding it. There's no diversification of talent at DC, because it's always the same cast of creators coming on there. Although I will say it's great to see Gull and March back on a Batman book. And it's also the same characters. We don't see Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, for example. We don't see. Why have a Booster Gold and Beetle story when you can have another Batman book? Because people will buy the Batman book. But that only becomes sufficient for so long, because we've been saying for ages how tired we are of the same sort of feel of the Bat books. But that's just my 2 cents.
No, it makes sense, because like you said, there's no reason to get Booster Gold or Blue Beetle or, let's be honest, Jenny Hex. Mm-hmm. I mean, all those other names. Why buy one of their books if you can get a Batman book? Now, I will say there are some characters that are better suited for the Black Label. One of which we'll talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
those I think have been great choices. That is one of the decisions that Didio brought, bringing the Black Label, that I think has helped DC.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes up for you having to read medals.
Nothing makes up for that. And with the news that there's a sequel coming out, you can bet I was really chuffed to hear that.
I'm sure that was almost to the point of you throwing on a Patriots jersey too.
That was me almost ringing up my comic book store and saying, just give me every Marvel book. I don't care.
No, at that point it's you go in and say, just give me every independent book and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with comic books, and this goes across everybody, every aisle, whether you're an indie guy, a Marvel guy, or a DC guy, or whatever. I don't use the term guy as a term to cover every gender, non-gender binary person. All right. Whichever aisle you follow, there is always good, and there are always bad, and there's always stuff in the middle. All right. So whilst I totally agree with you that there's a whole raft of fantastic independent stuff out there, I also agree that sometimes there's not so much good independent stuff out there. Same as like there's some good Marvel books, just as we're saying there's some good DC books. So you got to pick and choose. Find the creators that you like, stick with them, and they won't very rarely do they steer you wrong. Because if they're the ones you like, they've got you're in their thought plan. You hit the market that they're looking for. So yeah, that's kind of, I suppose, my take on it a little bit.
I like it.
Good. Yeah, cool. Should we talk some books now?
Well, if we can skip one or two, I mean, Freya's choice.
I can skip a couple. I know I can skip one. Say no names, Freyja at all. All right, so we'll start off. We'll go with a book that we haven't spoke of recently. It's a Black Label book. You will be surprised that it does not feature the Batman or the Joker, at least not yet. You never know what's coming, right? I'm talking about John Constantine #4. Let's get this out in the open. Is it Constantine or Constantine?
Well, I think it depends on who you're asking. If it was a blue-collar American, they may say John Constantine. If we're asking Tracy, Constantine.
Oh, there you go. So this is written by Simon Spurrier, art by Mateus Bagara, colours by the fantastic Jordi Belair, and letters by Edita Bidikar. Cool. Right, who would like to start us off on this book that we don't normally talk about? Freyja.
I'm going to say Freyja.
Yeah,
Freyja.
Let's go with Freyja because Freyja wasn't here last time. So Freyja, there you go.
Oh, goody. Okay, so
I was saying.
It's just, so honestly, okay, the artwork. So it has its moments where I absolutely despise it, aka the very beginning where he's getting dressed and all that. I hated the artwork, mostly proportions in his face and how it keeps changing. But it kind of grew on me throughout the story. It's still not my favorite artwork, but I'm like, it kind of matches the whole Sandman arty weirdness, so I gave it a pass. I did really enjoy just like the colors, whoever the colorist is. I did enjoy the color. Yeah, so I did that. Enjoy that. I also enjoy how like people in the distance have faces, because that's one of my nitpicks that I always have. Like, give me faces if you're gonna put people in the frame. And then when they don't, it's because it's nighttime and they're in shadows, and it makes sense. Also, freaking, I was having Yu Hakusho flashbacks when, what was his name? Tim? Gosh,
Tommy Willowtree.
Tommy Willowtree. Yeah, because that's how Yusuke fires his spirit gun. So, spirit gun. So also, once again, just like the artwork, I hated this character. I'm like, freaking hipster. But then he kind of grew on me as like the comedic relief, and I'm like, okay, he's fine. He's okay. So overall, the story, maybe because it's issue 4, I don't have any clue what's going on besides Constantine's getting slimed all the time, but it and getting smashed and vomiting. But you know, I kind of enjoyed the book as I got more into it. But you know, I think that's kind of the joy of Constantine or whatever the frick you want to call him. Um, that's kind of, you know, how that's how I feel the books usually are with him, is like they grow on you or you absolutely hate it. So
All right, okay. All right. So no middle ground. It's either love or hate. Okay, cool.
for me at least.
All right. Josh, how was your trip to the Constantine world?
Oh, it wasn't bad. I mean, the story was actually quite enjoyable for me. The artwork, the best way I could describe it, do you remember the Men in Black cartoon?
Yes.
That, when I jumped into this, that's exactly what it reminded me of. Men in Black. And I was okay with it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple weird parts, but for the most part, it was, I was actually okay with that direction, maybe due to the fact that I enjoyed the Men in Black and I associated the book with that art style.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So a bit of what's the word I'm looking for?
Nostalgia.
Art association going on there for you.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. I actually know someone like Tommy Willowtree, to the point where when I was reading this book, it was almost like a caricature. I was like, oh my God, it is so this person.
So they could cosplay that and be fun.
God, yeah. Yeah, he could. Unbelievable. And I used to work with a guy. He used to come in and say, right, I'm being all healthy. I'm going to eat like cavemen used to do. I'm going to eat berries and nuts. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he'd have like this little bait box just with like nuts, and they start talking about Telsa and his pigeon. I'm like, what? I was like, it was so like out there sometimes. It was like having an out of body experience sometimes talking to him. And he's a Sunderland fan, so which is the local soccer team that I hate because I'm a Newcastle fan. It's like the Patriots and the Dolphins. Okay, so caricature. That's exactly what I think this book feels like. I remember Hellblazer when it was serious, when there used to be social and political shenanigans, when Constantine was a bit of a dick. He would do dick things for good reasons, or maybe dick things for dick reasons. You never could tell because he was always on the run or on the scam, or there was something going on. This is just a bloke getting drunk, throwing up, and swearing a lot. I don't see how this is Constantine that we used to know back in the days of Vertigo Reader.
Well, they got one thing right. He's a dick.
Yeah. I don't know if they've just gone for the lowest common denominator and just said, you know what, it's a black label, so therefore we can swear, we can, I thought Constantine was more than that. In fact, I would even say that I prefer the Constantine in Justice League Dark to this Constantine. So that tells you something.
Yeah.
This one's the only good thing I liked about this book. The thing that I really liked the most was the humorous mobile phone that's haunted. If that was a miniseries, I would buy that. Maybe they'll team up with the red bat phone from the 60s, and then go out, chasing ghosts and solving crimes. Now that I would read.
I feel like you would have to have some sort of alcohol as well to really make them come to life.
Well, I'm drinking at the moment, although I wasn't drinking earlier today when I read this book, so that might go something to my point of view. No, I think it's a wasted opportunity. It's annoying because I really like what Simon Spurrier has been doing with the Sandman universe, trying to bring it back to life, so to speak, after Vertigo got rammed. I remember Spurrier when he was on some Dynamite comics. I think he's wrote a couple of Shadow series in the past, which I quite enjoyed. So I think he's got the ability, and as Freyja said, the Tommy Willowtree character is entertaining. You get to like him for what he is, the big oaf, and the mobile phone thing is really funny. But the rest, it's just like, I don't know. And the art style, whilst I agree, it is kind of all over the place, because I also think it has to be all over the place because it's a Black Label and a Vertigo, a Sandman Universe book. See what I'm getting at? It's kind of like we're doing a Sandman Universe book with Black Label, so the art's got to be arty, which then doesn't make it feel edgy at all. It just makes it feel standard, as much as having like standard superheroes in a superhero comic. Do you understand what I'm getting at? It's kind of like we expect arty, edgy artwork in a book like this. This is no surprise. This is kind of what you would expect.
Well, and it has that watercolor look to it, which I don't know how you're going to get super edgy if you're using watercolors.
Well, I'm not going to say anything against Georgie Belair. I think she's great. So.
Oh, no, it's great. It's just if you're wanting a dark, edgier look, I don't know if the watercolor approach is really the best.
Maybe edgy is not the word I'm looking for. Edgy doesn't necessarily mean that. I just mean something unusual. This book, because it's a Vertigo book, you expect the art to be unusual.
Well, it's definitely unusual.
And that's what you get.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow me away the way that the artwork on previous Vertigo or Sandman books has done in the past. I don't know. Maybe it's just me thinking that they're trying too hard. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how the series goes. Definitely. I would like to see the Sandman Universe have a more prominent place in the DC books rather than the DC Universe. So good. Right, okay. Next up, we'll go with Joshua's little fetish, I think.
Yay!
Batman Beyond number 41, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Sean Chen, inks by Sean Parsons, colors by Chris Sotomayor, letters by Travis Lanham. And I don't normally mention this, but the standard cover by Dustin Nguyen is perfect. Well done. We should have more. We should have some more Dustin Nguyen stuff kicking around. I wish we did more. Josh, this is your little fetish, so do you want to kick us off on this one?
Oh, yes. So we get to continue the story of Batwoman Beyond. And she's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
This is one of those stories, obviously. She's on the hunt to save Terry McGinnis. Is she going to make it in time? Well, I'm not going to spoil that. You're just going to have to read the book, because this book is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Ever since they introduced Eliana as Batwoman in this world, she's been fantastic. I would love to see, I would honestly love to see a dedicated story arc of just her. Mm-hmm. Like more than what we're getting here. Because I've just been a huge fan of her from day one.
Totally. I totally agree with you on that one. Cool.
I know it's one of the few times you're actually okay with Beyond.
I don't. I've said this before. When this was out before, it was like a digital comic first, and then the paper. Back when it was Batman Beyond Universe. I have all the issues upstairs. I absolutely love Batman. I love the Batman Beyond Universe. Absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. I think it's class. So I'm glad to see that after 41 issues, we've managed to get away from some of the repetitive things that were going on, and we've kind of changed the pace up a little bit.
Freyja, and we don't have the Jokers in it either.
Yeah, no Jokers this time round. Although we're not going to brag too much, because he was in the last arc, but we'll just leave that there.
Well, we don't talk about that. Shh.
Don't listen.
But we do.
Yeah, we do. Freyja, what did you think of Batwoman Beyond?
I liked her a lot. I kind of was frustrated with the whole amnesia shtick, but I can forgive this because at least he didn't go and change his name to Richard or Rick.
Rick.
Yeah.
Rick.
My name is Rick. But
could you imagine if Dick Grayson sounded like Rick from Rick and Morty?
I was thinking Rick from Walking Dead.
Oh.
Hey, that guy's
I don't know.
Rick. You can't...
I could just imagine Rick telling Bruce, "Hey Bruce, check this out. I'm Batman."
Oh, shut up. It's not. All right, I'm gonna go back to the comic, please.
Please, let sanity reign. Talk about the comic for Christ's sake.
So yeah, I really, really, really like this Batwoman. I like all the versions of Batwoman so far. Recently, well, except for Batwoman's actual book, but that was a different thing, and I'm not going to even get it on the top TV show because this is not the place. But I love this version of Batwoman. I like because the suit, it makes sense because it changes depending on who's wearing it, the whole thing. But I really like it. I like how everyone kind of like realized who it was, and they're like, we're such freaking idiots. We should have realized it was there from the beginning, And it was just kind of nice seeing the old Bat family together, and honestly, I liked it. It's one of those arcs that people should definitely pick up and read. And the artwork is really good, but I haven't really had an issue with any of the Beyond books artwork as far as I can remember. So yeah, I think it was a solid read, and I would definitely add it to this arc at least to my collection.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with both of you, to be honest. So a big thank you to Josh for putting this book on my radar. Reading the book, it has a classic, almost simple at times feel about it. There's nothing complicated. There's nothing convoluted. In fact, the cover practically happens by accident. It has nothing to do with the main story. It doesn't have overarching plot lines. It's not part of an event book. It's just a straight up, well-told story from point A through to point C via point B. There are a couple of tropes in play, the memory amnesia thing, for example. I'm not going to spoil it, whether or not Terry gets killed. And we get a new Batman. You never know. The art for me, I liked the art in the action pieces. I thought that was really fun. But some of the faces, especially when Terry's in the tube and he's got that look of terror on his face, in like nearly every panel, nothing changes. Faces can seem a little wooden, I think, when they're supposed to be showing emotion. But other than that, that's just like a sort of like a passing comment. Although I do have a question that someone would like to try and answer for me. Are you ready?
Sure.
Who is Elenia's mum? Who's her mother? Who's her mother? Because it can't be bad.
Talia al Ghul, because everyone hits that. Even Jason did.
Talia al Slut Ghul, is that what we're saying? Is that what we're calling her now?
Wow.
She
likes the Bat family. She gets it wrong.
Dick by name, Dick by nature. Is that what we're saying?
It's not who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you.
All right, there you go. There's your thoughts. Now, whilst you're scanning through the previous Batman Beyond comics, trying to work out if there is a connection and who can work it out, because let's be honest, no one knew who the Batwoman was going to be. I think it's a time to take a bit of a breather and hear from one of our other podcasts.
Can you imagine how pissed off the professor will be that I'm in an ad for his podcast? No, not that bald professor. It's the other one. You know, the one who has an attic full of long boxes of comics that no one has seen since Rob Liefeld learned to draw feet. Or still working on it. Either way, the only way you're going to know is if you listen to the No Prize podcast, exclusively on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Crusade with me, the Machine Hughes, Josh, Freyja, a little bit about Dan Didio. We've talked about a couple of comic books. You know it's a quiet week in DC comic world when out of all the books that we put out this week, someone has to go and choose the facsimile edition. So this is the Flash facsimile. It's the issue 123. It is the classic Two Flashes of Two Earths cover. Josh, I think this was your pick, was it not?
This was my pick.
There you go. So I've had to do some research on this because the damn book comes with no credits. That's what it was like back in the days, folks. So this is written by Gardner Fox, art by Carmine Infantino. That's inks are by Joe Giella and Murphy Anderson, and the colours are by Carl Gafford. And I'm sorry for the letterer, who in this book did double time and a half because there's plenty of words in the damn thing. I looked high and low. I could not find any information on who the letterer was. So apologies if I've missed you out. Josh.
I love this book, and it really should not be any surprise that I picked the facsimile book. This is, by my count, the third facsimile that I've picked.
Oh, you old classic collector, you.
Again, I echo what I've said previously, is this allows readers to enjoy the books of the past without paying out the ass for the original.
Oh. Put that on a tagline somewhere.
Well, let's be honest. Let me look on. I'll look on Amazon just for kicks and giggles here. If I wanted to get the Flash 123, oh my God, Amazon! Oh, sweet hell! How ironic that Amazon is slow. I'm trying to find a price for the Flash, the fastest man alive, and Amazon is slow. Well, I don't find that ironic at all.
Maybe ask Freyja to help you out because she's great with Amazon.
Okay, so
I found one on eBay.
Yeah, I found one on eBay with a grading of 5.0, $1,049. Holy hell! So at the price point you're getting the facsimile for, I mean. Let's be honest. This is just fun for me to read because I had seen the cover but had never actually been able to read the book. Mm-hmm. So, again, this is part of the Flash mythos, if you will. Mm-hmm. And to be able to enjoy it without having to pay out the ass, I appreciated it. And it allows me to appreciate comics now even more.
Okay.
Because we get to see, where they've come from.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Freyja, Flash 123. What do you think?
Flash 123. So I'm kind of with Josh. I really enjoy these older comics. I like kind of the art style and the simplisticness of it. And how the comics weren't like wrapped up in just how to word it. They're not too obsessed with continuity with each other that they're like, oh, read this book if you want to know what's going on here. Read Batman 23 even though you're reading a Wonder Woman book. Like, there's none of that going on because they're not really referencing each other. They are their own stories going on. And it's just nice. And I completely forgot that Iris was a blonde at one point. So, it was a nice throwback. And I've always enjoyed like the golden era and the silver era books the best, just because there's something, I don't want to say innocent about them, but there's something slightly innocent about them, and sometimes you need that in your books.
Yeah, and I'd made the joke about how many words are on this. This is very much a tell not show form of comic booking. And don't get me wrong, Cameron Infantino is like a creative genius, as was Gardner Fox. The style is dramatically different. It's not. It's funny because we looked at one of Neil Adams' Batman ones not so long ago, and ironically, that doesn't feel that different from some of the stuff you see now. Whereas Infantino, it looks dramatically different. It is totally different to kind of how comics are, especially how the Flash is depicted now. So it's interesting to see the fact that, you know, the different art styles, the simpler style. I love the adverts that are still in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that if you know just 20 people, you can make at least $50, more likely 100 to 200 in your spare time by selling Christmas cards.
Yeah, great. Only happens about once a year, but you know, it'll be all right.
It's true. Or the Zodiac ring that you can get for only 10 cents and engraved with the star sign of your own birth month.
See, these are just these are true, genuine offers. Any minute now, you go get some sea monkeys. It'll be brilliant.
Right? Yeah, I and maybe that's the other part of the facsimiles that I enjoy is the fact that they have the original advertisements. I mean, the flashgrams where you could write in and the editor would actually respond.
Back in the day, back when the true interaction. But you know, I suppose there's good and bad, isn't there? I mean that was the form of Twitter back then, if you think about it. Snail mail it.
No, smoke signal that shit.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
If you want to enjoy the comic of the past without paying, you know, the current eBay value, go with the facsimiles.
And you've got to remember that in the Flash TV show, they actually did this scene with the two Flashes saving someone, which I thought was really well done. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Last book standing. She's only gone and done it again. Freyja has picked Amethyst #1 of 6. So it's a miniseries starring everyone's favorite gem-powered princess from Young Justice. Is it Young Justice? Yes. Sorry.
It's something like that.
Yeah. So it's part of the Bendis mini universe. It's hidden within DC. Part of Wonder Comics. Story, art, and colors by Amy Reeder. Letters by Gabriella Downey and Freyja. Just you wait till I pick next time. Go on, take it away.
Okay, so honestly, I picked this because when we have slim pickings, I really just kind of go, and this one, just at random, and this one was kind of like, it's not Batman, it's not Wonder Woman, it's not the Flash, just something different.
If you hate this as much as I hate it, then that in itself will just be rewards. But if you turn around and say you love it, then we're in trouble.
So, the first thing I want to say is, at least, because she is a teenager, she's turning 16, it's her 16th birthday, blah, blah, blah. At least they don't have her trying to talk in like slang like the cool kids do, you know. She actually talks like a normal freaking human being. You know, there's no weird terminology coming out of her mouth and you're like, what the fuck did she just say? it wasn't trying too hard with like, gotta react with resonate with those teenagers, which I appreciated. Artwork wise, I mean, they gave the background people faces. Once again, that's plus. Also, her face usually stays the same. Not always. Sometimes her face kind of gets wonky. But like it for a non-main superhero book, it's not bad. It's definitely more geared towards like a younger audience, and I'm even going to say it's more geared towards girls. It's setting up something, so I'll read the second one. I can't completely hate on it, but it wasn't bad. I have read worse. Honestly, I have read worse. I think I like this better than some of the, dare I say, some of the Heroes in Crisis books and or Doomsday books.
Really?
Yeah? Not all of them. Just certain ones that I like this one better, because at least it's going somewhere so far. Unlike the recap book of, this is what you previously read in this book series. And that's the book. Or, that one Batman one where it had no point.
Yep.
The end of the, So at least it has a point and it's going somewhere. I mean, like I said, you're definitely not the targeted audience, Johnny. So.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
Honestly, if you have a young readers, like, this is more for the young ones, the little kids, the young children. So okay. I'll give it that. Now, as an adult, though, I would never read this crap again. But it's a little too much. It's a little too magical girl. Not even magical girl. It's just not. It's not for adult, I would say. I mean, you can enjoy it if you really wanted to, but yeah, I'll give it another book, but yeah.
Witness on the fence. Well done.
I am so on the fence with this thing.
Yeah, you might like playing the odds. Well done. Excellent. Josh, can you believe it? Made us read this. Oh man.
Okay, so I know. So on the cover it said the unforgettable adventure begins. Oh, should have been forgettable adventure.
I thought exactly the same thing.
So here's, I'm trying to think of the nice way to describe this book. This is the Nickelback of She-Ra.
Oh.
The Nickelback bedazzled version of She-Ra. Nobody likes Nickelback, apparently.
You mean Jim?
No. See, I considered Gem and the Holograms, but I like Gem and the Holograms. Well, I guess you could say, no, this is like the prehistoric Gem and the Holograms, but more of Gem and the, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know. I mean, there were moments where, yes, having like all the background characters actually having their faces, yes, I was happy to see that, because we've seen in some Bat books where it's just like my 8-year-old just went boop, boop for the eyes and then a smile. We actually get faces here. The geodes were cool.
Oh dear God!
And I don't know. Damn you, Freyja. I really hope we get a super political book, because oh my hell, Payback's a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one. As soon as I saw the cover, I was like, this is.
All right,
Hard pass. Hard pass for me.
So Freyja's bang on, right? This book isn't aimed at me in any shape, way, or form. In fact, me looking at this book and giving you some sort of critique on it is basically kind of like just like spitting in the wind. All right, it's just not going to work. What I will say is, for the time of which Young Justice is aimed at, all right, this is a great way to see some more of maybe one of your favorite characters that doesn't maybe get a lot of love in the Young Justice book because it's all about, you know, Drake and it's all about Superboy and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with Freyja that it's aimed squarely at girls, and I think that potentially is its problem, is that it's maybe not too inclusive, ironically, you know, because she's a girl, or she reads like a girl, she looks like a girl, she talks like a girl, and I'm not sure how many young boys will get into the story of that. I'd like to think some do, because, you know, they want to read cool stories. I like that DC put out these books. I think DC do a good job of the idea of trying to mix it up. So you've got like the Black Label books, you've got the Bat books, you've got your main superhero books. They've also got Young Animal. They've also got the graphic novels that come out, like The Shadow of the Batgirl that came out not so long ago. Some of those that we look at, like the Harley one or the Catwoman one, we think, man, this is terrible, but they're not aimed at us. So I think, if anything, you've got to applaud DC for making sure that, I suppose, every reader has a comic book that can gravitate to, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's probably where I'd leave it on that one.
Yeah, we're definitely not the target audience for this one, as you said. So, yep, no.
So
I would have rather have read Red Hood.
I would never read Red Hood, just so you know that.
No.
Over Antheist? Over Antheist?
Can I be honest? If I'm really truly honest, I barely read this. I read the first 2 pages and skimmed the rest. I was like, right, done. All right,
that's what
so
I
that's
get
it.
for doing due diligence.
Yeah, sucker.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it. We talked about Dan Didio. We talked about books. There's one more thing we need to talk about.
Actually, maybe 2 things.
Wow.
Maybe, depending on what this is.
I've got. Okay.
Go ahead.
Robert Pattinson in
yes.
suit.
Okay. Yep, one thing.
What are we thinking? Are we a yay, it looks cool, or are we a, oh my god, hard pass?
I'm going to give him a shot, because I do that with everybody. Because if you remember, when Heath Ledger was the Joker, everyone was like, oh, he's going to be a terrible Joker. He's going to be a terrible Joker. It's going to suck. And then he was like the best Joker ever. So, you know, you have to give. And I was the same way with, why am I spacing on her name? Wonder Woman.
Gal
Gadot.
Gal Gadot. I was, because I only saw her in the Fast and Furious movies. I'm like, no, she has no muscle. She's way too skinny. You know, there's no way. She's too frail looking. And then, you know, Wonder Woman movie came out, and I was like, yeah, she did a really, 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 really good job. You know, she's fantastic as Wonder Woman. So I'm of the opinion I'm going to see what he got, because, I mean, you never know. Actors are actors, you know. And if he does well, then great. But I'm going to have to give him a shot. The bat suit, there have been worse looking bat suits. So I'm not going to even hold that against them.
The thing that got me about the bat suit is that they saw the Catwoman suit not long after, and somebody said, "Oh, just give it a rest. That's not going to be the suit. That's a motorcycle suit." I'm thinking to myself, well, couldn't you say the same thing about the bat suit? Because you see there's photos of him on his bike as well. It's like, what? Mm-hmm. But hey ho. Josh, thoughts?
I'm excited. I mean, let's be honest. The person that we saw was not Robert Pattinson. That was the stunt double. So to say, this is going to be a shit Batman, I mean, what I've enjoyed is seeing all the people come out of the woodwork saying that, we wish Batfleck was still around. And yet those same people, and I did look, I'm not going to name names because, one, I don't feel the need to. I went back through their Twitter feeds, And those same people that was saying Ben Affleck should still be Batman, that he's the greatest, blah, 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 they were shitting on him when he was announced. So I'm just throwing it out there. We can't be passing judgment on Robert just yet. The bat suit, I like that they're taking the year zero approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I posted this on Twitter that I would love to see a recreation of the Detective Comics 27 cover with this new Batman. Mm-hmm. That would be amazing. I don't think this is the final suit. I think it's an early prototype. I think we will get the full suit towards the end of the movie. So I think this is just kind of that initial teaser. I mean, let's be honest. Batman tends to change his suit at least twice in a movie. You know, it happened in Batman Forever, happened in Batman and Robin, happened in Batman Begins, if we really want to get picky.
Did it happen in Batman Begins?
Yeah.
When?
He
had the ski mask.
Oh,
Yeah.
away. No,
And he had the suspenders as part of the harness.
That's BS. I'm calling that one. I'll give you, he changes it in the Dark Knight because he changes from his no neck movement to his movement one. But nah, it doesn't change.
Okay. Batman Begins is a stretch. But definitely the Dark Knight. I mean, and we get it in Justice League.
Yeah, I do that.
So
I'm just looking forward to no bat nipples and no bat song.
Exactly. I mean, if people want to shit on Pattinson being Batman, well, then you know what? They are hardcore George Clooney fans as Batman.
Hey, don't knock George Clooney. Val Kilmer's the worst Batman. That's
I'm gonna. You want to call bullshit on me? I'm gonna call bullshit on you.
I've said this
Hell
before.
No. I know you have, and I called you bullshit.
Batman and Robin is a better movie than The Dark Knight Rises. I've said it.
But how is that how is that saying that Val Kilmer was a better Batman than George Clooney?
Because Val Kilmer's the worst Batman. It's just awful. It's got the worst Two-Face. It's got Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, not the Riddler. It's like,
yeah, but okay.
No,
so
Robin's too old.
This could be a whole separate pod, but I'm throwing this out there. At the time that Riddler was made, they were copying the 60s camp. Still had to be serious. And so obviously Jim Carrey's Riddler at that time was modeled after Frank Gorshin.
I get that.
I just all of that series of movies to be like the Silver Age, because freaking Batman and Robin was campy and ridiculous the whole time. And so Batman Forever was also campy and ridiculous. And I'm sorry, but the one with Catwoman and the freaking Penguin was campy and ridiculous too, because freaking Catwoman's doing backflips out of the store and she goes meow and then it blows up. I was like, yeah.
Oh, okay. That scene was amazing. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about. Right, stop.
Let's say it's campy.
Right, before we go down this rabbit hole.
Oh, we're already in there. You started
We need to climb out of this. So yeah, I like the bat suit. I think I'm with Freyja. I've never complained before the fact about any of the bat actors or the villains or anything like that. I'm just going to see what happens. You know, fair enough. After the event,
I like the design of the bat cycle.
Yeah, it's got two wheels and everything, just like a motorbike.
Well, no, it's got the whole bat head on there.
I want Batman's bat cycle to be actually like a bicycle.
Pushback. The bat pushback.
Well, if we get that,
I need a foot pump fast.
No. If we're gonna get that, I want to hear him say, "Hey, Pewter." Come on, Tom Arnett's a better Batman than George Clooney.
And on that note, was there something else you wanted to say?
No, it was about the bat suit. I did get a kick out of the internet. modifying the bat suit to make him look like the Tick.
Yeah, that was cool. I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I am hoping, and maybe this is just because the stunt double, is in the rain and all of that. But did you notice how the eyes had kind of the shields over them?
I'm hoping that they're going to wipe them out.
Glowing white eyes. That's what I'm hoping for.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I want to get more of the world's greatest detective and some glowing motherfucking white eyes.
Yeah. None of this
has been really missed. Batman movies is the detective part of the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
And the fact that every time you take off your mask, the eyeshadow stuff goes away magically. That's impressive. That's a superpower in itself. Whilst we're talking Batman, a quick shout out. We don't normally do this, so apologies. But Batman 89, there is a first appearance cameo of a new character. This book is going through the roof. Speculator, can't say the word. Speculator, can't say it. Someone help me out. What's what I'm trying to say? From a speculation point of view. So if you get a chance to get hands on a copy, go for it. It's also a pretty damn good read. The last page is outstanding.
Wait, for which book?
Batman 89.
Oh. Speaking of kind of a throwback and making reference to 89, I loved seeing the 89 Batmobile in Curse of the White Knight.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Batman saying, "Let's get nuts."
Yeah. Yes. It's good when it's odd when there's so many we're down on Batman a lot for the amount of stuff that's out there, but some of it is absolute pure genius, pure quality.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the current Batman run now. The Detective Comics is kind of feels a filler issue, but we'll see how it goes from there. Freyja, any last words other than you love Twilight? Deathly silence.
To talk to you because of that comment.
Yes. Revenge is mine.
Poor now.
That's it. I'm getting the speed of Harley reviews now. Great.
You wish. No. Nothing really. Just, I do have K-pop Cosmos that comes out once a month, so if anyone's interested, keep an eye on that.
Cool.
And we may actually be going into Korean hip hop / rap. So, yeah.
Cool. Check that out. Josh, final words?
Oh, I've been enjoying this, and make sure to also check out our newest show, Cinema Crusaders, where we review movies that are at least 10 years old. Got 2 episodes out already where we talk about Equilibrium and the Boondock Saints. So make sure to check that out as well.
And of course, don't forget to check out Flipside Focus, Outside the Panels, and the No Prize podcast. All right, excellent. So this is your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, saying until next time, adios.